Today, we are going on a journey, tracing the path of one of India's most important rivers. It's a river so sacred that it's actually known as the Ganga of the South. We're diving deep into the story of the Godavari, truly the lifeline of southern India.
So here's how we're going to break it down. First, we'll explore why it's called the Ganga of the South. Then we'll see how the river literally creates the world around it. After that, we'll look at its role as a lifeline for millions, face the hard truth about the threats it's under, and finally, talk about how we can save this incredible river.
All right, let's start at the beginning. What exactly makes this river so special? Well, its identity is just woven so deeply into the culture and religion of the region, giving it this almost legendary status.
People call it the Dakshin Ganga, the Ganga of the South. And you know, that's not just some catchy nickname. It's a sign of its holy place in the hearts of millions, putting it on par with the Ganga itself. You have these huge pilgrimage sites along its banks, like Nashik, which hosts the massive Kumbh Mela. We're talking millions of people gathering on its sacred banks. And its physical scale, it's just as massive. The Godavari runs for 1,465 kilometers. Think about that. It starts its journey way up in the western Ghats of Maharashtra, flows east all the way across Telangana and Andhra Pradesh, before it finally empties into the Bay of Bengal.
But the Godavari's power isn't just cultural, right? It's a physical, shaping force. Next up, we're going to see how this river acts like a master sculptor, literally carving out the landscape it passes through. You can almost think of the river's journey as a three-act play. In Act 1, its upper course, it's young and fast, cutting through Maharashtra and carving these really steep, narrow valleys. Then comes Act 2, the middle course, where it slows down, widens out across Telangana, and deposits all this rich soil, creating these wide, super fertile floodplains. And for the grand finale, Act 3, it builds a huge, life-sustaining delta in Andhra Pradesh, basically this giant fan of rich land that it leaves as its final gift before meeting the ocean.
Now, all these valleys and floodplains and deltas, they aren't just beautiful scenery. They are the absolute foundation for the river's role as the region's economic and ecological heartbeat. It is, in every sense of the word, a lifeline for millions of people.
And to manage all that power, a whole network of massive engineering projects has been built. You've got the Jayakwadi Dam in Maharashtra, which totally transformed a drought-prone area, and then there's the enormous Polavaram project in Andhra Pradesh. These dams are absolutely critical for everything from irrigation and electricity to providing drinking water for countless cities and villages.
And this slide really gives you a great sense of the sheer variety of the economy that this river supports. Remember that delta we just talked about? It's so fertile it's known as a rice bowl. The river itself supports a huge fishing industry, and the river basin is a source for power plants, paper mills. It's even got huge reserves of natural gas in the broader Krishna-Godavari region. It's incredible.
And it's not just people who rely on it. The river basin is an absolutely vital sanctuary for wildlife. It feeds these lush, dense forests that are home to several tiger reserves, national parks, and wildlife sanctuaries. We're talking habitats for everything from the Royal Bengal tiger to the rare wild buffalo. Okay, so we've seen everything the Godavari gives. But now we have to pivot, because this vital lifeline is in serious, serious trouble. We have to talk about the growing crisis that threatens its very future.
So, what is going on? Why is a river that sustains so much life now fighting for its own survival?
This slide connects the dots perfectly. On one side, you have the causes: industrial waste, raw sewage, chemical runoff from farms, and the physical disruption from all the dams. And on the other side, the effects are just devastating. Widespread pollution that's choking the life out of the water, a delta that's literally washing away into the sea, and a massive loss of fish and wildlife.
And this chart breaks down the pollution into what is essentially a toxic cocktail. You've got factories dumping chemicals, cities pouring in untreated sewage, and just tons of solid waste like plastic being thrown straight into the water. Every single slice of this chart is a direct threat to the river's health.
It sounds pretty bleak, I know, but the situation is not hopeless. And that brings us to the final and frankly the most important part of this whole discussion. What can we actually do to rejuvenate the Godavari?
So the amazing thing is, the solutions are right there. They involve everyone. To fight that toxic cocktail, industries and cities have to treat their waste before it gets anywhere near the river. Farmers can switch to organic methods to stop the chemical runoff. We can plant trees along the banks to stop erosion. Every one of these is a direct answer to one of the problems we just saw.
Now, individual action is powerful, for sure, But a problem on this scale needs a big, coordinated response. And that is exactly where government initiatives come into play, creating the framework we need for large-scale action.
We actually have a playbook for this. Programs like Namami Gange, which is all about cleaning the Ganga, and the bigger National River Conservation Plan, they offer a proven model. What makes them work is that they don't just focus on cleanup. They tackle public awareness and sustainable water management too. They're a blueprint that can be adapted for the Godavari, and they represent our best shot at an organized, effective comeback.
So in the end, it all comes down to this delicate balance between our need for development and the river's desperate need for conservation. The real question isn't what we need to do anymore, it's whether we're going to act in time. Will we find the wisdom to protect this great river, to make sure it can keep on giving life for all the generations yet to come?